There is one thing separating business owners who are going to scale this year from the ones who stay stuck at the same revenue goal, and it has nothing to do with their strategy. It's not their offer, it's not their content, it's not their funnel or their email list or even their pricing. It is support. Specifically, the kind of support that turns a good plan on paper into real momentum in practice. And most business owners are missing at least 2 to 3 pieces of it without even realizing it. I see most business owners with really solid strategies who are stalling out because they're trying to execute entirely alone. No real peer support, no delegation that actually frees them up, no one in their corner who truly gets it. And the thing that keeps them looking at their strategy, trying to find the problem when the problem has nothing to do with the strategy at all. Today, I'm walking you through the 5 support pillars that I believe every business owner needs to scale sustainably this year. And I've built a quick audit for you for each one. So by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what pillar to focus on first. When most people hear the word support in a business context, they immediately think of hiring a VA or maybe joining a mastermind. And yes, those things matter, but the kind of support I'm talking about today goes a lot deeper than that. Support is anything that increases your capacity to execute, anything that takes weight off your plate, sharpens your thinking, stabilizes your nervous system, or frees up your time and energy for work that only you can do. And when you look at it this way, support stops being a nice to have and becomes one of the most strategic things that you can invest in. And here is why. Number one, support is a capacity multiplier. You can only execute as far as your foundation will hold. And if that foundation is cracked, if you're running depleted, even the best strategy in the world hits a ceiling. Second is you are often the bottleneck in your own business. I know that I often am, not because you're not capable, but because you're carrying more than any one person should be carrying alone. Support is what changes the equation. And third, everything else in your business performs better when the person running it is properly supported. Your strategy, your systems, your content, all of it gets better when you're not doing it alone. So I've identified 5 pillars of support that come up again and again when I'm working with business owners who are trying to scale. And what's interesting is that most people have 1 to 2 that they're really good at, but they're missing the other ones entirely. And it's usually the missing ones that are causing the biggest drag. The first pillar is having a coach or strategic mentor in your corner. We often are way too close in our own businesses to see them clearly. The things that your coach catches that you simply cannot see from inside your own head are often the biggest unlocks. It's not that you're not smart enough to figure things out on your own. You absolutely are. I know that, but having someone equally invested in your success who can see the whole picture, give you honest feedback, and hold you accountable to what you said you wanted, that's an accelerant. Full stop. And I want to normalize this because I think there's a tendency to see coaching as something that you graduate out of once you know enough. I work with a coach for at least 6 months every year, and I do this work professionally for other people, and I am still way too close to my own patterns, my own blind spots to see them clearly without outside perspective. If anything, the more you build, the more valuable that outside perspective becomes. Now, for each of the 5 pillars, I've put together a quick 5-question audit. The format is simple. So I'm going to read 5 statements, and I just want you to answer true or false to each one. Just keep a mental tally or grab a pen, and at the end of all 5 pillars, we're going to add up your scores, and your highest number is going to tell you exactly where to focus on first. So add up your number of truths, right? So for pillar 1, here's the audit. So I want you to answer true or false to these statements. So 1, I often feel like I'm going in circles with a problem and can't get out of my own head about it. Number 2, I make most of my big business decisions without a real sounding board. Number 3, I've had the same goal on my list for more than 2 quarters without meaningful progress. I find it hard to stay accountable when things get busy or uncomfortable. Number 4, I haven't had a significant mindset shift or business reframe in the last 6 months. So I want you to count your truths. The more you have, the more a coaching relationship could be the missing piece for you. The The second pillar is having at least one person in your corner who is actually doing this too. And I want to draw a really important distinction here because this is not about having people who love and support you, your partner, your family, your best friends. They love you. They want what's best for you, but they cannot give you the same support that someone in the same trenches can. Real peer support is not standing in a room full of people giving you their 30-second elevator pitch while you just smile and wait for your turn to give yours. That's performance. And that's not what we're talking about. Genuine peer support means someone can be completely honest with the hard stuff, the revenue dips, the self-doubt, the pivots, someone who can do the same with you too. This could be a mastermind, it could be a small peer group, or even like one trusted biz bestie who's at a similar stage in their own business. And the reciprocity matters. When you show up for someone else who's going through the hard parts of building a business, it sharpens your own thinking. You see patterns more clearly from the outside, and the relationship stays balanced. You remember things you've already figured out. You become more generous with what you know, and it makes you a better business owner and a better human. The audit for this pillar are true or false for these. When something hard happens in my business, I don't really have anyone to process it with who truly understands, true or false. I often feel isolated or like I'm the only one dealing with what I'm dealing with. True or false? The networking I do feels shallow and doesn't lead to meaningful connection. True or false? I've never been a part of a group that felt like a genuine community. True or false? I hold back from sharing the full truth of what's happening in my business because I don't know or don't think people would understand. If you have 3 or more truths here, it means that finding your people is a priority. Pillar number 3 is delegation, both your human team and your silent team member. So this one is about getting the right things off your plate so you can focus on what only you can do. So I want to offer a reframe here because most people approach delegation as what can I hand off, which keeps them thinking small. The better question is around your zone of genius. What are the things that only you can do? The things that require your specific expertise, your voice, your judgment. Everything else is a candidate for delegation. Here's how I want to expand how most people think about delegation though. You don't only have a human team, you also have a silent team member. Your silent team member is your tech stack, your automations, your systems. At this stage of your business, your tools might be doing more of the heavy lifting than a human hire could, and that counts as delegation. So when you're thinking about what to delegate, you're thinking about 2 categories. So what can a person, an actual person, take off your plate, and what can a system or an automation handle without you touching it at all? Here's how I actually figure out in my own business what I'm going to delegate every quarter. So for at least a full week, I track my full time, right? I track using a program called Be Focus Pro. It works and helps me do my Pomodoros, but it also gives me a report at the end of where I spent that time. I want to track the specific things that I'm working on and get as nitty gritty as possible in there. So I track my time and then I score each task on 3 things: enjoyment, strategic value, and energy cost. Then I sort everything into 4 buckets: keep, systemize, delegate, or delete. I did this exercise recently with a coaching client who was convinced she did not have enough in her budget to hire help. She thought that delegation was something that she'd get to eventually. And when we actually tracked her time, we ran through this process, we found 18 hours a month of tasks that she was doing that had 0 business reasons to be on her plate. Admin that could be templated, scheduling back and forth that could be automated, formatting and uploading that a VA could handle in a fraction of the time. 18 hours. That is not a small number every month, right? That essentially is an extra 2.5 work days every single month that she was giving away to tasks that didn't need her. Once she saw that clearly, the decision to get help was not at all a factor. The audit for this pillar, so I want you to answer true or false to each of these statements. So number 1, true or false. I regularly spend time on tasks that I don't enjoy and know someone else could handle. Number 2, true or false. I've thought about getting help, but I tell myself that I can't afford it or don't know where to start. Number 3, true or false. The bottleneck in my business is almost always me. This is my big one. Number 4 is I don't have a clear picture of how I actually spend my time each week. 3 or more truths means that your time and energy are the biggest thing standing between you and your next level. We spend a lot of time talking about what to delegate in your business, but what about life? The lifestyle first approach that I teach means looking at the full picture, not just your work calendar, but your whole life. And sometimes the biggest unlock for your business capacity is getting help with something that has nothing to do with your business at all. This is actually referred to as life sourcing, outsourcing, but for your life outside of work. And this one tends to land especially hard for women because research consistently shows that even in households where both partners work full time, women are still carrying the majority of the domestic and mental load. The planning, the managing, the remembering, it's exhausting in a way that's hard to quantify but very easy to feel. And it absolutely affects your business too. For me personally, the things that I like to outsource are like cleaning. My husband handles the cooking. These are real hours and real energy that I get back every single week that I'm not pouring into tasks that I don't need to be doing. So what would an extra like 3 to 5 hours a week and significantly less mental load make possible for you? This doesn't have to be expensive. You can start small, start with the things that bother you the most or drain you the most. Here is our audit for this question. So true or false? There are tasks in my personal life that I dread every week that someone else could easily handle. Number 2, true or false? I regularly arrive at my desk already tired because of everything I've managed before I even open my laptop or computer. Number 3, true or false? I feel guilty about getting help with things outside of work like I should be able to do it all. Number 4, true or false? My personal responsibilities regularly spill into my work hours. And number 5, I've never thought about outsourcing something in my personal life as a business growth strategy. So even 1 or 2 truths here can matter more than you might think. The hours that you spend on things you don't need to be doing are obvious, but it's the mental load that really costs you, the low hum of everything that needs to get done that runs in the background all day, even when you're technically working. Pillar number 5 is nervous system support. I don't think this one gets talked about enough in the business space, and I think it might actually be the most important one on this list. Your capacity to handle growth is directly tied to how regulated and supported you are underneath it all. Your ability to make decisions, show up consistently, and lead your business through hard seasons all depends on what's going on beneath the surface. Your nervous system capacity is a business asset. I want you to hear that. This is not some soft skill. This is strategic. When you're not feeling like yourself, it shows up everywhere in how you show up for clients, in the decisions you make or avoid, in how you handle the weeks where everything feels hard and the results feel like they're not showing up. What does nervous system support look like? It's different for everyone. It could be therapy, mindset coaching, somatic work, breath work, meditation, feeling your feelings rather than bypassing them or suppressing them or numbing them. Whatever actually helps you feel grounded and stay steady under pressure, the key is that you're not waiting until you're in a crisis to seek it out, but proactively supporting them, and that is how you stop burnout before it starts. Here is your true or false audit. So number 1, when things get stressful, I tend to spiral, shut down, or make reactive decisions. Number 2, I regularly push through exhaustion or anxiety rather than addressing what's underneath it. Number 3, I don't have a consistent practice or support system that helps me feel grounded and regulated. Number 4, the emotional weight of running a business often feels like I'm just carrying it alone. Number 5 is I've thought I should probably talk to someone about this and never followed through. So if you're nodding along to any of these, this pillar might deserve your attention first. Okay, now I want you to go back through each pillar and add up your true scores. You should have a number out of 5 for each one, and your highest score is your biggest gap, and your biggest gap is where to focus on first. This isn't about having all 5 pillars perfectly in place overnight. It's about being honest with yourself about where you're running unsupported right now and making one intentional move in that direction to get more support. A few things that I want you to sit with as you look at your audit results is tip number 1, support is not optional if you want to scale sustainably. I hear business owners say all the time, I'll get support when I can afford it, or I'll hire help when things calm down. But here's the thing, things don't calm down without support. Support is what creates the calm. The business owners I know who are scaling sustainably, enjoying their businesses, are not doing it alone. They've intentionally built support structures around themselves and treat that as a non-negotiable. non-negotiable. Tip number 2 is your support needs are going to evolve, right? They will evolve, and that is expected. The coaching relationship that you need right now might look different in a year. The delegation that makes sense today might expand as you grow. The nervous system support that works for you might shift over time. And that is completely expected, and that is completely okay. Think of the audit as a snapshot of this season. You might want to come back to it every quarter, I know I do, and reassess it. Your needs are not static, and your support structure shouldn't be either. Tip number 3 is that getting support, this is a really big one. Getting support is not a sign that you can't handle your business. I am someone who, still believes, I still fall into this trap of believing that I can do everything alone. So this one is for those high achievers who've been white knuckling it and calling it independence. Getting support is not a weakness. The most capable business owners I know are the most intentional about building support around themselves. The two things are not in conflict. In fact, they are deeply, deeply connected. Tip number 4 is start with your highest scoring pillar, but don't ignore the others, right? The audit is to help you get a clear priority, but I want you to have a plan for all 5 over time, or at least the ones that you don't have like on lock. Even the pillars with low scores deserve your attention eventually. Think of this as a rolling priority list, not a one and done checklist. Now, if you're listening to this or watching this and thinking, I need all 5 of these and I don't know where to start, I want to tell you something. Inside your signature scaling system, my coach salting partnerships, one of the very first things we do together is look at where you're running unsupported. Because I have learned over the years working with business owners that you can hand someone a perfect strategy and it won't move if the foundation isn't there. We work through your business model, your capacity, your support gaps, and your scaling strategy together in a 3 or 12-month partnership. This is a personalized support guidance built around your actual life, your actual capacity, and your specific goals. If you are tired of trying to figure this out alone and you're ready to build the kind of support structure that makes scaling actually feel sustainable and doable, I would love to talk. You can book a free strategy call at yourcontentempire.com/coaching or find the link in the show notes. Scaling is not a solo sport. I know there's a version of the entrepreneurship success story that goes lone genius, works in isolation, pushes through everything alone, comes out victorious. And that story is a complete lie, or at least leaves out some really important things along the way, the support that was actually there behind the scenes. The business owners who built something sustainable and actually enjoy what they built, they ask for help, they build community, they delegate, they take care of themselves, and they do not go it alone. So whatever your audit revealed today, I want you to treat it as a gift. Clarity, right? Clarity about what to focus on is always a gift, even when it's a little uncomfortable to look at.